afternoon. It's not Victory Monday. It's Miserable Monday here in the Bay and wherever you're at. 49ers, as we know, failed to beat the Rams on the road. What a meltdown last night. It's the day after. We got to kind of talk our way through it. I don't know how you guys are feeling. I'm feeling a little bit better, but that loss definitely hurt. It's only early in the season. It's week 3. No time to panic. You know, we saw a lot of good things, right? We saw Jauan Jennings, just showcase to the world who he really is. We've seen Jordan Mason over the last couple of weeks showcase who he really is. And we've seen Brock Purdy play without the Avengers and showcase who he really is. So there are some really good positives. I mean, Brock Purdy last night was fantastic. We saw the stat line. It was just amazing to see what Brock Purdy did. I mean, the guy, he was 21 out of 29, 258 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Like, it was an incredible game. He had a heck of a game. And, that's one thing I want to really, bash home is 296 yards passing. Brock Purdy showcased to the world that he is the guy. He's the one that can elevate his team. He doesn't need a superstar cast. He doesn't need all these guys. Like, he had a 7th round pick, Jauan Jennings, who's showcasing that he's probably better than the guy you paid $30 million a year. So those two guys, man, they get nothing but love today. They get nothing but respect. I rewatched that game, and, man, they played so hard. Like, they played with their hearts on their sleeve. Like, Brock and Jennings were just fantastic. Fantastic. As long as we got those two on this team, we're going to be competing just like Fred Warner the week before. Like, Fred Warner puts this team in position to win every week. And, there's some guys on this team that just every week, they're going to bring their hard hats and they're going to deliver. And those are some of the guys. But it is stressful, not necessarily stressful. It's heartbreaking, I should use the word, when you have a performance like Jauan Jennings, a career game, 173 yards receiving. When he does that and then you lose. And then Fred Warner the week before. I mean, one of the best games I've ever watched a defensive player in a long time. And they lose that game. So it's like these guys, they dig down deep, they go crazy, and then you lose, So it is frustrating to see these players just put everything out there and then you lose. But, especially Jauan Jennings, I don't know if you guys saw, but he declined to talk to the media last night. Like, he didn't want to speak with the media, and I don't blame him. He was visibly upset, as you guys saw after the game. You could just see the look on his face. When he walked out the tunnel, I saw some videos. I think Yahoo Sports posted a video. You could just tell he was sick, man, just like all of us. And Cam Inman tweeted out, he was visibly upset, and he just didn't want to talk to anybody. He was going to, but he changed his mind. It was a career day, and, they were going to ask him some nonsense, and he just didn't want to deal with it. And so it sucks because his 2 biggest games of his entire career, the Super Bowl and now this game, both of them are ruined. They blew games. And we got to talk about Kyle Shanahan and the fact that he's blown a lot of games. I think he has, 5 blown losses when he has a 10-point lead with the Niners. So it's frustrating. And, they were up 10. You got to pound the rock. I questioned that when I rewatched it. I said, why aren't we running the ball? I get it. Jauan Jennings is tearing it up, but why aren't we running the ball a little bit more? I wish they would have ran the ball a little bit more. I know there's a play, and Baldy did a breakdown on it, and I posted yesterday as well. Brandon Ayuk wide open. I mean, he was so wide open, literally wide open on this play. Let me see if I can pull it up. Maybe I can pull this up. I want to watch this play. I'm going to see if I can add it. But, yeah, Brandon Ayuk was, wide open, absolutely wide open. And, Brock doesn't pull the trigger on him. Now, no, I don't have the video on this phone. It's on my other phone. We'll have to maybe go on Instagram later and do it. But there was a play. You guys probably saw it. Brandon Ayuk was wide open. It was just towards the end of the game. And Brock just didn't see him. He scrambled, and he hits Jennings, I believe, after scrambling. But then a lot of people are out there, and they're saying that maybe he doesn't trust Brandon Ayuk, or that chemistry is not there. I definitely think that they're just not on the same page, and maybe Brock didn't see him. Or maybe he saw him, but he just checked them off, because maybe he doesn't trust him. Like, there is that. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with that, but maybe Brock and VA just aren't on the same team. He didn't come into training camp, right? And he didn't have that connection early on. Like, yeah, they had great connection last year, but I kind of feel like that might be the case, that Brock and Brandon Ayuk may not be on the same team, same side. I don't know. We'll have to kind of look and see how this goes on. You know, they're still trying to get acquainted with each other. But Brandon Ayuk, man, this was a golden opportunity for him. $30 million a year. You got all these guys that are out, and you keep harping on, you were the fourth option last year. And now, you were that guy last night, or you should have been that guy last night. Let me tell you, look, so 3 games right now. Through 3 games, Brandon Ayuk has 11 receptions, 119 yards in 3 games, and no touchdown. He's averaging 2.1 yards of separation this season, which is 3rd worst across the entire league. 3rd worst. He's supposed to be really good at separating. He's got an average of 2.1 yards of separation. So he's not separating from these DBs. Is it because he's not running as hard? Is he not as quick off his block? Now, is he out of shape? Is he not strong enough? There's a combination of all these things. And if you go back to the Super Bowl, he couldn't get separation in the Super Bowl either, right? So it goes back to that. He got clamped up in the Super Bowl, and maybe teams have figured him out. But Ayuk not getting separation is a big thing. Like, that's where you look more into it. Like, I know some people say, oh, he'll get to it. He'll get, he may be a little rusty, and he might be. But the fact of the matter is having 11 catches, 119 yards, and 0 touchdowns in 3 weeks, and you're supposed to be a $30 million man. That's a question to me. That's a big question mark. And the fact that he's only getting 2.1 yards of separation this season that's a big key. That's what you got to take away. That, okay, maybe he is getting open on some plays. People will say, oh, look at the film, he's open. But he's not getting open by a lot on most of the time. Like, there might be a few plays where he gets open, but for the most of the game, you're only separating 2.1 yards from your defender. So even if you're somewhat open, Brock's got to fit that into a very small window. And if they're not on the same page, fitting that tight window throw with the guy that you just don't have that chemistry right now, it's risky business. It's risky business. Renee says, get Nick S. on the phone. Nick Sorensen. Where do we start? 49ers got rid of Steve Wilks. Now, I didn't think he was the greatest guy in the world. And you got to remember, with the 49ers, whenever they get new DCs, it takes them a little time. Got to get a little seasoning under there. I'm not going to sit here and say he's fired Nick Sorensen right now, but defense doesn't look like it's getting any better. It looks like it got worse right now. So, no pressure. Cornerbacks are getting cooked up. Mooney Ward got absolutely cooked by Tutu Atwell yesterday. That's unfortunate. But I don't like to use excuses. But this is not necessarily an excuse. Mooney Ward was coming into the game banged up. Should he have played? Maybe, maybe not. If he doesn't, we're going to be mad because somebody else would have got burned. But Mooney definitely dealing with injuries. He's not playing like an all-pro right now. Yadam. I'd rather go through growing pains with Renardo Green than Isaac Yadam. Like, Renardo Green, he might make some mistakes, but you expect it out of a rookie. And he was a 2nd-round pick. Why did you draft this guy if you're going to sit him on the bench? I want Renardo Green playing. Any other team, if they have a 2nd-round cornerback, they're going to play him. Play Renardo Green. Play him. He got that dog in him. Play him. Let him make mistakes and learn. I'd rather let him learn and take a beating here and there than Isaac Yadam, who's a veteran, who's not getting any better. He's not getting any better in this group. So, and it goes back to wide receiver. Okay. Yes, we didn't have Debo. Yes, we didn't have Kittle and CMC and all these guys. So we expected Ayuk to step up. He didn't. Juwan Jennings did, which, thank you. Thank you, Juwan Jennings. You're that man. Love you for my life. Juwan Jennings, you're the guy. But there was a lot of other players that could have stepped in. You got Chris Conley. Why didn't you give him at least give him an opportunity? He's a great veteran. He's got good hands. I would have maybe thrown him an opportunity, with the game on the line. And drop a play for Juwan Jennings. Ronnie Bell having that opportunity just didn't make sense to me. That Ronnie Bell play was bad. That right there, when I rewatched this game, I was just like, I almost like threw up rewatching it again. Because, I knew it was coming, but you're like, no, there's no way he drops it. Even though you knew it was happening. I'm sitting there rewatching it, and I'm going, no, he didn't. Did he just drop it? Not like I didn't know already, but I was just like, like that moment was just devastating. Like, Ronnie Bell, man, you got an opportunity, and you're squandering it. And the fact that Kyle's going to keep him on this team and keep him rolling is wild. I mean, hopefully they make a business decision, but I don't know. Jacob Cowing, he's a young guy. A week before, muff punt. Kyle doesn't trust him, and now he didn't get an opportunity in this game. I would have liked to see him get an opportunity. Hopefully it doesn't end up in the doghouse for him, but can't read Kyle with those situations. So it was definitely unfortunate because you have talent, but you're not utilizing some of the guys that, you really maybe should. So, whew. Mario says CMC flew to Germany. Not looking good. What makes you guys think he's coming back this season? He hasn't played. I don't know if CMC's coming back this season. I know they keep saying he'll be back 6 weeks. It's a tough injury, an Achilles tendonitis, and they're putting a lot of pressure on Jordan Mason. And this is what I was worried is you're going to run Jordan Mason to the ground. And I love Jordan Mason. He's so good. But Kyle's done it many, many times. He's had these running backs, and then he never gets like a solid backup, and he'll run a guy 20, 30 times a game, and then they get hurt. Like, it finally caught up with CMC. Hopefully he's okay and he can get back to shape. But I don't know. Before CMC, you had Raheem Mostert. He got hurt a lot because Kyle was running him all day. And then you had Elijah Mitchell. He couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately. And then you had Jeff Wilson, Matt Breida, Jerick McKinnon, all these guys. The common factor is Kyle would just run him, and then they get hurt. Kevin Coleman. We've had really good running teams, but I'm really worried about Jordan Mason. I hope he can stay healthy, but Kyle's running him ragged. It's a lot of runs for Jordan Mason. But I love the guy, and he's great. But they got to get another guy that can step in, and that's why we really need CMC, because you need two guys to tote the rock in the NFL. The NFL is tough, especially at running back position. You really need to have a guy to take some pressure. Mason was going to be that, Mariano Rivera closer type guy. Give CMC a couple plays off here and there, let him catch his breath. CMC would, limit himself in terms of getting hurt. And then you got Jordan Mason, boom, fresh legs pound. And now it's Jordan Mason. You really don't have anybody to keep his legs fresh. They tried Isaac Guerrero. He's young. He's a very raw player. He's a very developmental player. And that's the thing. He was a backup in college. He's never really started. It's going to take him time to get used to playing several downs in the NFL. And again, he has quick speed. Like, Isaac Guerrero is a prospect with high upside because he can run fast with a 4.3 40, but he's never had to really play a lot of snaps. So it's not like you can sit there and give him like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 snaps. Boom. He's never really had to do that before. So, but Niners make a trade deadline. Oh yeah, Niners definitely going to be in the trade talks when the deadline comes. Not sure yet. Maybe defensive line. They definitely need some help on the D-line. O-line, if they can get it. O-line just looked lost last night. Colton McKivitz, he's among the NFL leaders in pressures. Let me see. I think he's among the leaders in pressures. It's not looking great for him. Let's see. Colton McKivitz is tied for second most pressures allowed in the league. 13? This Coach Yak. Shout out to Coach Yak. Yeah, 13 pressures on the season. It's 3 games. It's like 4 a game. It's a lot. And Jake Brendel, don't get me started on him. They need O-line. They need to fix that D-line. They have players on D-line, but it's just not enough. They get tired, and they're just not getting penetration. Maybe it's the DC. I don't know. Fred Warner needs help. They need Greenlaw back out there because Devondre Campbell, he wasn't it, unfortunately. Cut Bell. A lot of people want to cut Bell. I'd be surprised if they don't cut Bell after that. But Brock Purdy came to his defense last night and said, this was crazy to me when Brock Purdy said, I gotta throw a better ball there. Brock was no man. That just shows how much of a great guy he is. A hell of a teammate. Brock Purdy is a fantastic human being, and you could tell. He said, I just got to throw a better ball. We got Ronnie's back. That's a great teammate, man, but because he didn't want Ronnie to get slandered and the death threats and all that stuff. And I, I'm irritated at Ronnie, but hats off to Brock for being the bigger man. A lot of people couldn't be that type of person in that situation. But I got to make a petition. We need to retire the number 10 jersey for the 49ers. Kyle Williams, I don't even like to say that name. He who shall not be named. I might have to call him. He's like Voldemort. And then you got Jimmy Garoppolo and Ronnie Bell. The number 10 jersey. Number 10 jersey, it's not really good for the 49ers. Not really good. I don't like it. CR says Purdy going to eventually get himself in trouble looking out for guys like Bell. I don't know, man. He's just a good guy. But props to Brock, man. He played fantastic. We said it at the top of the hour when we started here that Brock, I mean, he deserves nothing but praise. Him and Juwan Jennings, nothing but praise. Man, Brock Purdy, though, I really love seeing Purdy ball out yesterday, the 41 rushing yards, and just putting this team in position to go out there and do the damn thing without, the superstars. He proved himself. He doesn't need star players. He could be the guy to elevate his teammates. Like, he proved he's that guy. He's not a quarterback. He was throwing some deep, some of those passes. Whoo! Some nice passes. Was Winters back in the game? He was in and out. He left. He had a knee issue. So Winters didn't really get to play much. He exited the game. He came in and exited within like a couple minutes. So that's another issue. These linebackers, stay healthy. Just really, in general, the 49ers right now dealing with a lot of unfortunate injuries, banged up. Heartbroken, JJ, says Carl. Yeah, I would have been too. What do you think about this Sunday's game, says Renee? I think the Niners could win. I think they will win. I mean, the Patriots, they're a scrappy team, but they really don't even have a quarterback situation figured out. I don't know. Are they going to go with the rookie Drake May? We don't know. Like, they're a tough team. They play good defensive football, but they don't have enough weapons on the offense. They got a new quarterback, or Brisket if he plays. So the Niners should win this game. They should dominate. They're opening up as a 10-point favorite, which is kind of crazy. But they are better than the Patriots. They should rough them up. Home game for the 49ers. But you can't sit here and say they should win. They will win after what happened this week. There's a lot of soul searching the Niners need to do. They need to look in the mirror and fix some issues. Defense is not defensing. Special teams is playing unbelievably bad. And just every week there's some miss-ups. You got a block punt. You got some missed field goals. This week there was a missed field goal. You got a muffed punt a couple weeks ago. You had a fake punt that you allowed to happen against you. You allowed a big return yesterday. And one thing Kyle said, he goes, yeah, we knew they were going to call a fake punt and we just couldn't stop that. The fact that Kyle said he knew they were going to do a fake punt and he couldn't stop it, that pissed me off more. I would have just said, yeah, I didn't know. They caught us off guard. Just say they caught you off guard. Don't sit there and say you knew it and they still beat you. That pissed me off even more. The fact that Kyle said he knew they were calling a fake punt and they couldn't stop, that tells me you don't know how to fucking stop. Your defense wasn't prepared. Your special teams wasn't prepared. Don't tell me that you knew it was going to happen and then you didn't stop it. Like that really irked me last time. Like, don't tell us that. Just say it caught you. Oh, yeah, it caught us off guard. That's the play that changed the momentum of the game. I was so sick when I was listening to that press conference and he said that. Oh, man. Carl said the chemistry's not there. Kyle said they were pissed off in the locker room. So, yeah, I'm sure that I'm not going to say that there's internal issues or turmoil. I think everybody's just pissed off, man. And it's probably festering into the season. They had a weird off season. They lost the Super Bowl. That sucks. You're coming into camp irritated. Some players didn't go to training camp, and now they realize they probably should have. Trent Williams, he said it. He was like, I should have probably went to training camp. Now I'm getting tired of the game. I didn't realize how exhausting it is. During the broadcast, the reporter had said that's what Trent said. 2 games in a row, he's had to go and get IV. So, yeah, it's just been a weird start to the season. It's early, long season, no time to panic, but it's been a frustrating start to the season. That's just how bad Schneider is. Could be. Any case, well, we're going to wait for injury updates later. Kyle Shanahan will be live at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, which is 6:30 p.m. Eastern today. We'll get some updates. Hopefully we get some good news on George Kittle. We really could have used George Kittle out there. Honestly, that was a huge loss. Because if Jennings was there, who cooked, I think George Kittle would have made some big catches. George Kittle would have dropped that Ronnie Bell pass. If Brock Purdy would have found George Kittle in clutch time, Kittle makes that catch. That sucks that we didn't have him. So, any case, you guys have a good rest of your day. I will be back a little later. Enjoy this Monday. Again, you got to realize we got some really good players still, but it's early. It's far from over, but it was definitely a frustrating game yesterday. Peace out. Love you. Go Niners.